Hello, Margaret Toomey Public School staff, students, and families. It's Mr. Wilson with this week's principal update from the sunny Sunday shores of Penn Lake Park here in Marathon. I hope everyone had a great week last week. I sure did, because every day at Margaret Toomey is just better and better. It really is just this incredibly amazing school community, and I'm just really enjoying being in classrooms and getting to know everybody. Last week was also cool because we had a really productive professional activity day with school staff. We started in the morning with all staff from across Superior Greenstone meeting to talk about embedding Indigenous ways of learning, knowing, and sharing into our classrooms. We did this under the lens of reconciliation, but it extends beyond that. It's about getting to the root of our kids so our kids feel safe and supported in classrooms. I'm excited about this work because it ties into a lot of the work that I'm doing outside of school, developing some of my own understanding about why our kids are the way they are. But it was really refreshing and staff were digging into it. We also talked about some school issues, again, tying into a sense of safety and a sense of belonging. We talked about the impact of artificial intelligence and how it can support some of our students' problem solving, creative thinking, and even time management in an organization. We talked about things like lunch structures and transitions from within grades and within the school to the high school, or from being a toddler to a JK student. It was just a really good day with great conversation. But I want to take a pause because I want to just transition myself to a different environment to talk about some of the other connections that the professional activity day has with some of the thinking and learning I'm having about some of our students. So let's move on. Okay, so here I am at location number 2 to talk about this fella I'm learning from named Dr. Stuart Shanker. He is a behavioralist, he's a psychologist, a researcher from the Peterborough area. And his argument is that what we've been doing to deal with things like bullying and other behaviors just isn't working, because rather than get to the heart of the issue, we're just trying to suppress the behavior. And well, we know that's leading to frustration. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, anyone involved with kids right now, we know that there are some who are just having a really tough time regulating their emotions and their behaviors. So Shanker says, we maybe need to do something a little bit differently. And that different thing is understanding how our brains work and how that our brains thrive on a neurochemical called dopamine. And for most of us, we get that dopamine just through normal biological cycles. But for some people, we start getting that dopamine through not so great behaviors like bullying or just, acting out, or those things that we see that sometimes trouble us as people who deal with kids. So we need to understand where that's coming from and what the triggers are. And there was a 3.5-year long pandemic. We have kids who are dealing with increased screen time, different sleep schedules, and nutrition habits. Basically, the long and short of it is that being a kid in 2024 is a lot different than being a kid when we were kids. So we need to think a little bit differently. And as a school staff, that is what we're engaged in. So needed to take a little bit of a break and describe that somewhere where I could be organized. So, okay, back to the weekly update. Okay, so here I am at location number 3. Now that we have that explanation out of the way, I can finally talk a little bit about some of the things that are happening at Margaret Toomey this week. We're excited because our grade 3 students will be heading to Beegtagong Nishnabeg and the Badabin Healing Lodge this week for some engaging learning in community. Really excited about any opportunity for our students to visit Beegtagong and learn from our partners. So thank you to Mr. Skorczynski and Miss Whitelock for your organization, and to our friends in Beegtagong for welcoming our students. Our grade 3 and grade 6 students are also starting some early work around the grade 3 and grade 6 provincial assessments on reading, writing, and math, or the EQAO standardized tests. I have met with Miss Bocage and Miss Whitelock a couple of times now just to talk about some of the things that we're going to do to get our kiddos ready. So you can stay tuned for that if you are a parent or a caregiver of a grade 3 or a grade 6 student. The last thing I want to share is really, really important as well, and it's a fundraiser that is coming up on Sunday, May the 4th, for the Gordon family. Many of you know Mr. John Gordon and Mrs. Sloan Gordon. Mr. Gordon, of course, the principal at the high school, and Mrs. Gordon, a member of the Margaret Toomey teaching staff. They're dealing with a family situation that some of you know about right now, and to show our support for their situation, we are inviting the community to a fundraiser basketball game at the high school, at Marathon High School, on Sunday, May the 4th at 6 p.m. It'll be an opportunity to fundraise, to show support, to cheer on our friends for a really, really important cause. You can find posters with all kinds of other information and details all over social media. And if you can't be there, then there will be other ways to contribute and show your support. So stay tuned and we'll get that to you. So that's coming up on May the 4th. Anyway, we're at the end of the video right now. There are all kinds of other things that are happening. Oh, one thing I did forget, it's our last week with our student teacher, Miss Emma Hiscox. Emma left a major mark on the grade 8 class where she's worked, and can't wait to see her again. I believe she's heading to Southern Ontario for her last placement before we hope she returns up here to continue doing good work. So enjoy your last week, Miss H, and thank you so much for choosing Margaret Toomey, and thank you to Miss Musica for welcoming Miss H into the grade 8 classroom. All right, now we're at the end of the video. Enjoy the week, enjoy the sunshine. Spring is almost here. And finally, as always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Peace.